Okay, hello everyone. We have come to the module 3, that is programming from beginners to advanced. In this course, we are going to learn about Arduino syntax, introduction to variables, digital read and serial port. Well, serial port is a very important part of Arduino and we are going to study about it in this lecture. What is analog read? And even we have to say that what is analog? Introduction to pulse width modulation, or you can say it PWM, and we will be doing a practical of how to fade a LED. The fading of an LED can be justified as similar to the dimmers. In dimmers, you can say that when the dimmers are pressed, the glow of the bulb become faint and it will continue to go down. After that, we will be getting into programming with conditional statements. That are the very important part of programming. We will discussing about continuous if and if else statement. After that, we will be going to for loop, and for loop there is also one part in the chapter, that is while loop. I have included it in the section so that we can get a better understanding of what is the difference between a for loop and while loop. In the last part of it is using an array. About array we will be talking about that on getting to the topic. Okay, let's start. Syntax. Well, syntax, you can say that the syntax in a programming language is similar to grammar in English or any another language. So syntax is the method by which the program should be assembled properly so that the compiler of the computer can read it. You can say compiler is a machine that is used to understand and check the program if it is written in the syntax, and then convert the C language, the language that is simple to understand by us, to a hexadecimal language. And hexadecimal language is consists of only two parts, that is 1010. Then after it can be written into each line can be written in a hexadecimal code that contains a base of 16 into 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 0, then A B C D E F. This is the maximum strength of the hexadecimal value that is being written in the next line. Okay, about understanding syntax, the Arduino is written in C++ language, so we don't need to have a basic knowledge for this course because we are doing it in practical and we are getting a better understanding of the language. If you have a prior knowledge to that, you can do it and it will be better for us. If you have a prior knowledge to it, it will be good for you because you will be better in programming and all other stuff. Okay, declaring variables and declaring pins. Well, I have told you that a variable can be stated as an object or an instrument in which the values are put. For example, you can say that the x is equal to 5. It means the variable of x stores the value of 5. You can change in within milliseconds. You can say the value of x can be changed as 6, 7, 8 or whatever you like. This is known as a variable. Well, what about pin? I have told you in the Arduino that there are about 28 pins, out of which there are 30 digital and 5 analog pins that can be converted into digital. So we have about 18 pins that are digital and that can be working on the Arduino. So we have to declare the pin with a variable. An important part is that a variable can also store the value of a pin. Like if you had said a variable as is equal, I will be showing you an example that will be better. For example, if you have written the variable x is equal to 13 and you put all the places over x where the 13 has been written, you can see that the program will be still working because when the system goes to x, it will be checking that digital pin, the value of x is 13. So it will understand that x is equal to pin number 13, and when we put x in the place of pin number as a variable, it will also understand. So let us check it. First of all, we have to compile it. There is an error. You can see that error because we had not terminated. There is an error in the line because we have not terminated the line. So let's terminate it with a semicolon. Now please check it as compilation. You can say that the value of x is not declared. Yeah, this is done by me to tell you that you cannot declare a variable directly without giving it a function, without defining a function int, because it is not Python. We have to declare every variable with a function int, or it can be float, it can be long, or it can be character. I will be telling you about that in the next sections, but here we have to put it a value int. Okay, when we had put the value int, you can see that the color has changed to blue. It means that it is a valid syntax. Okay, now check it. There are no compiling errors. It means that the value of x is stored as a variable as value 13 and it has been stored at every point. Okay, let's just upload it to the board first of all check the connections, board COM port 7, board Arduino Uno. Now doing that upload, you can see that it's going and done uploading. Now you can see that the board, it's blinking. It means that the method is correct. Okay, now let's get to the next part. After that, you can see that the next part is running one program at a time, while the difference we have to know that the difference between running a program at one time and running it in a continuous loop. You can see that the blinking of LED is still continuous. It means that it is running in a loop. But what would happen if we run it is one time? Let's just check it. We have to put it into the void setup. Okay, just a second, let me do it. Come here, make a cut of all the programs, Control X, and write it here, Control V. You can see that after defining the pin, a program has been written with the same syntax. Let us compile it. Okay, after compiling it, we can see that the program is written. I am taking the microcontroller here so that you can check that it has been run for one time or not. I had clicked it, the program has been running, and you can see that it will blink for only one time. This is the method for running program at one time. This is called void setup. And if you want to run the program for infinite long, you have to put it in void loop. Well, you can keep the void loop empty, but it is not possible to keep void setup empty, because the declaration of pin and the calling of the serial monitor and all the functions that are done here are placed in void setup. Okay, now let's get to the next part of it. Here you can see that running a program for multiple times or for running it in long time. Okay, let's get back to the programmer, our IDE. We can see that in our IDE, just go here, select the syntax program and cut here. You can go to void loop, write it between the two curly brackets, because if we do not write it between the curly bracket, it will say that it's an error. Okay, again check it, integer is declared, integer, our variable has been declared. The void setup has been fulfilled with the condition pin mode x is equal to 13, that is output. Okay, now let's get down to the void loop. You can see that in void loop, digital write x is equal to high for 100 millisecond, x is equal to low for next 100 millisecond, and it is written in loop, so it will run infinite long time, for infinite long time. Okay, let's check it. And the upload of the program is done, and you can see that it is running for infinitely long time. Okay, let's get back to another section. Okay, after that we will come to see what is a function. If we run a program for one time, it is okay, but if we are going to call the values for multiple times, we need a function in which the program is written for one time, and whenever we want to call it for multiple times, we will call the function. I just give you a simple example. Just look here. Okay, here cut all the program with Control X. Okay, after void setup, before void loop, we write void void glow, glow. You can see that void glow has been written. Give it two curly brackets. After that, give it two brackets. After that, give it two curly brackets. Okay, in between them, paste the program, and in the void loop, call the function glow. Give them brackets and terminate it with a semicolon. You can see that the function has been called here, and its value has been written here. Now let's just check it. We had checked it, there is no compilation error, and we have uploaded it to the board, and it's successfully uploaded, and you can see that the blink has been still going on. Okay, the method for function is correct. I will be explaining you more about functions in the later chapters. It is just for the introduction of functions. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.